Alright, here's a quadratic graph question. Keep in mind this is a non-calculator paper. If it was the calculator paper, remember what we would do, we would write the formula out, ready for substitution. So 2x squared minus 5. And we would substitute one of the given values into that in our calculator to make sure we get the correct answer output. So I'm going to try it for this one. 2, open bracket, minus 2 squared, minus 5. I'm going to calculate this. Now, be aware, when you have something like 2x squared, that squared only affects that x. And remember, in BIDMAS, it talks to us about doing brackets first, then indices, and indices are powers. So this is an indice, and that comes before multiplication, addition, subtraction, and whatever one I missed out. So what we don't do is 2 times x and then square that answer. We do x and square it first, then multiply it by the 2. So in this instance, we've got negative 2 squared. So that's negative 2 times negative 2. Now 2 times 2 is 4. A negative and a negative is a positive. So minus 2 squared is 4. So I've got 2 lots of 4, take away 5. Now 2 lots of 4 is 8, take away 5 equals 3. And I've got myself the answer that they provided, so I know my method is correct. So now I'm going to do it for the one that's missing, and that's minus 1. So 2 lots of minus 1 squared, take away 5. Well, if I need to do the little working out over here somewhere to show that minus 1 times minus 1, well, 1 times 1 is 1, minus and a minus is a positive, then that's fine, go ahead and do that. But 2 lots of positive 1, take away 5. Negative 3. And that's only worth 1 mark there. So, that's a B one because it's just knowledge, right? It's not a method, it's not an answer that you've got from anything, it's just you know how to do that or you don't. Okay, now you need to use the graph paper below and choose a suitable scale for the y-axis. This is the y-axis. They've given you the x-axis, that's the one going across. You need to work out a scale for the y-axis. The y-axis has to go up to 3 minus 3 minus 5 minus 3, 13. That's the highest. So our axis needs to go up to 13 and it needs to go down to the lowest number, which is minus 5. So I need to make sure when I'm making my scale up that I can fit 13 up here and 5 down there. It's really important that the scale is the same above and below the x-axis. So you can't have the positive numbers going up in 2s, say, and have the negative numbers going down in 1s. They all have to be the same gap. Now, the easiest scale to work with is, and I'm going to write it on here in the palest pen I got, which is green. The easiest and most tempting is 10, 20, 30, 40. But think about this. My graph only goes up to 13. If there's 10, 11, 12, 13, if I was to do that, the highest point of my graph is only going to be here, and I'd have a really squashed up graph. So that is not an appropriate scale. Alright, and it's even mentioned in the mark scheme that you'll get 0 marks for using that scale. So let's consider other scales. If 10 is too big an increase, what about 5? If it went up in 5, 10, 15, 20, that means 13 would come up around here somewhere. I quite like that scale. And it also means then that each one of these is worth, so each 2 of these, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each 2 of these little squares is worth 1. It's a nice easy scale to work with. They have said in the mark scheme that you can use 4 8, 12 and 16, and then you have to recalculate the scale, so that's fine also. But then that'll be -5, that'll be -10. So with a ruler, which you would hopefully have because you've sat down to do your maths prep, I haven't got it because I came home in a rush as it was snow day. So this is my attempt at a ruler. It's an old name badge I've got from a conference. There and there. Alright, now I need to plot my values on. Okay, so the first one goes from -2 across, so -2 on the x-axis, and the y value is 3. So 1, 2, 3. It'll be there. Alright, so 6 squares up. The next, and I mark it with an X, not a dot, okay, an X. The next is the one I did, so -1, and it goes down to -3. So 1, 2, that would be -3. Then 0 goes down to -5. Oh, that one's nice and easy. Then 1 goes down to -3 again. 1, 2, 3. 2 goes up to 3, so 1, 2, 3. 3 goes up to 13, so 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's all my points. At that point, I've got 3 marks. And the final mark is for drawing a curve with the intention to go through every one of those points. And to draw a curve, usually I have to turn my paper because I'm not great with the whole curve drawing with one hand when the paper's upright, but I can't do that because of the camera. So, just to remind you what the marks are for this question, 4 marks. So you've got a B1 for having the -3. Then you get 1 mark, so another B1 mark for getting the scale correct. Then 5 correct plots without having an incorrect one would get you another mark. Alright, so that means that even if you got that wrong and you haven't plotted, you didn't know how to do it, you haven't plotted it on, you can still get a mark for plotting the points. And then you get the final mark for having a curve going through your 6 plots. Okay, so if you make a mistake, you're going to lose 1, maybe 2 marks. But that would be a 4-mark question that you should bank on. You should look at that and think, yeah, I can get all 4 of those marks. There will be a part B to that question, but I'm not going to show you what that is.